Here we are then with part 2. I don't know what we're going to call this actually, I don't know. But we'll figure something, don't worry. Not important, is it? Now then, like I said, this is a wood wizard I'm drawing now, called Iggy, or if you really want his full title, Ignatius Pigeon Flip. Now I don't know where that name originates from, but oh, Merlin's saying it's Hungarian Japanese. I think he's making fun of me. I think he is, don't you? Hungarian Japanese. Never heard of anything Hungarian Japanese, have you? No, of course not. Anyway, Merlin was telling me earlier on that he'd had quite a run-in earlier on with a bog whoppet. Now, we had an attack yesterday, as you probably know if you listened to the other video. Halfway through a drawing I was doing of Iggy, the wood wizard, we had an attack by the bog whoppets. What's a bog whoppet, I hear you cry? Well, a bog whoppet is kind of hard to describe, really. They're a bit like a dog, and a cross between a pig and a cow and a sheep. That's the only way you could describe them, really. I know that sounds a bit complicated, but they look like, really, like a lot of these things, they look like whatever you want them to look like, really. Because we all see things in different ways, don't we? Well, I think we do. I certainly, I've been told I do. I've been told on a number of occasions that I do, and sometimes not that graciously, it has to be said. But then, like I've said to you before, I'm not here for your approval. I'm just here for a bit of fun. And if you don't like what I do, you don't have to watch it. You could go off and have your cup of tea and do whatever you want to do. It won't bother me, because apart from anything else, if I'm absolutely honest and blunt to you, I wouldn't know, would I? Whatever you do, I don't know what you're doing unless you tell me. And then, well, if you tell me, then I probably won't listen anyway. Pretty much the same way as I deal with critics. I do listen, don't get me wrong. I just don't take very much notice, ever. What's the point? Eh? That's what I say. Don't get yourself all upset over that sort of thing, do you? The thing is, you're never going to please everybody. And you shouldn't try. Because that way is madness. Be nice. That's all you can do in life. That's what I think. Anyway, going back to this, Merlin had a bit of a run-in with a bog whoppet. Bog whoppet, I should say. B-O-G-W-O-P-P-I-T. Bog whoppet. And a leprechaun. Now, they were playing chess, which is kind of strange in itself. But then you find out they were on the back of a giant bumblebee playing chess. That's even stranger. Now, we haven't had a giant bumblebee in these parts for quite a long time. But it's good to know they're back. Actually, And that could be something to do with this lockdown we're all experiencing at the moment. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. And there was a frog apparently sat nearby drinking tea from a bowler hat. Now I know we're getting to the realms of darkness, really, but I'm only telling you what I was told. So, I mean, you know, and apparently, in the corner, by the old armchair, which is magical as we found out yesterday, we must try that, because apparently it time travels. That would be fun, wouldn't it? The old armchair that time travels. Anyway, there was a Grindle witch. Now, I'll tell you about Grindle witches on another day. Anyway, she was playing a harp, which was made out of gold, this harp. Very valuable. No, it's not that harp. No, it isn't. Well, I don't think it is, anyway. Apparently it's a fairly heirloom. But there we are. Anyway, this harp had snag weasel whisper strings, which, well, that's good, isn't it? Now, I don't know what a snag weasel is. I didn't know they had whiskers, and I certainly didn't know you could actually make strings for a harp out of them. So there's 3 things there that are all news to me. The top and bottom of it is that Merlin actually has arranged a conference between himself and the leader of the Bogwoppets to discuss peace terms. Now, I think that's a very good idea. I know there's 1 or 2 that don't agree with that, including several of the dancing ducks in hats, and apparently Edith and her chickens aren't too happy about it. Now, I had a chat today with a very good friend of mine called Anna, and she likes hearing stories about Edith and the chickens. So I think tomorrow, yes, Edith is nodding in approval at this, because I have to be honest with you, most of the people here, well, when I say people, I mean characters, are a little bit vain. Now they're getting a bit grumpy. Now listen, you are. Now don't get like that. And they do like the story to be about them. But here we are. Now I don't know. Now somebody just asked me about this Grindle witch. Now I don't know where they come from. Merlin said he'd tell me later, but he can't tell me now because he's in the middle of something. Well, it actually looks like a rather large bottle of gin. But, and actually, well, yes, as it would be, it's mine. Rather, now, half empty bottle of gin. Now, the hippie penguins that live on top of the landing were telling me earlier on that the badgers in the bathroom have been playing water polo again. Now, I told them twice before that bath is not big enough to play water polo in. And it's not suitable for the old badger to be up the tap end, because the last time we did that, we had an awful job with him. God, dear oh dear, he fell backwards, hit his head on that tap. Up the hospital, we were in that A&E department until early hours of the morning with that. We were, God, that was an adventure we don't want to have again. Now this little dog, here he's in the distance, so he's not going to be very big. You see, like that. So there we are, that's that. I don't think, really, in all fairness, I mean, we could doodle away to our heart's content. Because, like I said, Iggy is a wood elf. The reason I slowed down there for a minute, I was thinking of that song. But I think that was Ziggy. Ziggy played guitar. Yeah, you know the one. I don't have to tell you who that was by. No, I don't. That's right. You've got it. There you are, you see, all very clever people. Now then. See, there is a story going on at the moment. I don't really know if I ought to tell you this, really, because I might be in trouble. This gonks decided to clear off altogether. He said, no, I'm not staying. So he's gone. But this chap, George the Badger, young Badger, he's not very old, was out for a walk with his granddad. Yes. Yeah, I know some of you know the story already. Well, they met up with Mole, a very fine fellow. In fact, Grandad Badger used to play mixed doubles with the Mole. Well, of course they were mixed. It was the Mole and the Badger. And they were very good, apparently. Table tennis. Yeah. Anyway. See, I do this all the time. I digress down. It used to be trainer 4. Because you keep asking me these questions. If you just wait, I think it will be explained. Now then. They were out for a walk. And they bumped into Mr. Mole. Diggy. D-I-double-G. Why? Diggy the Mole. And he, well, he's a bit of a boffin. Bit of an inventor. And he had invented, or well, not invented as such, but he'd made a balloon. What we have is hot air balloons, but this was balloons tied, basically, to a plastic dustbin. Yeah. Anyway, they went flying in that. But what they didn't know was there was a rather nasty witch. And she was planning to take over the world, as they all do. These villain types. Don't they? We've all seen them. Yeah, we know who they are. We don't need to talk about them really, but they're there. But she was doing a spell for this end. But part of the spell, I know this is terrible, but I'm going to have to tell you. One of the parts of the recipe for the spell was badger's feet. Young badger's feet. Anyway, the only young badger nearby at that particular time was young George. So she set about trying to find young George. And she's brought in the help of some weasels. Now, they weren't very good at what they tried to do, because they tried to get George. And they failed miserably, and they got a good sort of pasting, actually, by Grandad, who it turned out to be, had a certain amount of training in the art of being a ninja, which was a bit of a surprise to everybody, even me. And I know nothing comes out of my mouth should technically be a surprise to me, but it is. Well, that was, anyway. Anyway, they failed. Anyway, then she brought in the big guns, which are the bully pigs. Now, they're not very nice at all, but they've turned up. And that's about where we've got with that story. they were shot out of the sky by the weasels, which, as you can imagine, after that you need a certain amount of ointment to put on that, because that's going to be a graze or two, isn't it? And what was happening next was they went, well, Grandad Badger took George and the mole to see the Fox King. Now, the Fox King tends to know most things that are going on, and he'd actually explained to them about the witch and what her plans were. And they were going off to find a good witch called Belinda Backcrazy. Now, it's all fascinating, I know, isn't it? Getting a bit complicated in my little head, actually. And to start with, the Fox King, that is, lent them his longboat, canal boat, barge, if you like. And he also sent along some of his top plainclothes Fox security chappies, which are very helpful. And anyway, then they got a motorbike, which was an immense amount of fun, and a car in this search for this Belinda Backcrazy. Now, last I heard, I don't know who they'd met up. They'd met up with several characters that had said they'd seen Belinda Backcrazy. And that's basically as far as we got with that story. We're waiting to hear what's going on there, and hopefully it'll be good news, because that would be awful, wouldn't it? Because this witch, now I can't remember her name. She got a funny name, but she's got a vulture she lives with. They seem to be quite popular, these vultures, but this one isn't a very nice one, actually. Bit of an old misery guts. And she got a cat with one eye. No, I don't mean that. No, I don't mean that at all. Very funny. No. Anyway, there we are. What I'll try and do before tomorrow, or the next time I draw one of these things, which will probably be tomorrow, as it happens, I'll see if I can find out a few more details. And yes, I will check the newspaper and get the names right, because that's important. I'm not going to go around guessing names, because that way lies madness. Anyway, this is a nice little picture coming on here. I don't think I'm going to do a lot more to it now, and I'm going to say goodbye. But like I said, hopefully Merlin can have a successful peace talks with the bog whoppets, because really what we like to do in these situations is say, and they all lived happily ever after, even if half the time they don't. But there we are, you know. Well, it's all very well, but Prince Charming, well, you see, starts to go down the pub with his mates to play darts in the evenings, and the princess puts a bit of weight on, gets a bit, you know, and what with the old, like I say, Prince Charming going down the pub, a bit of weight on, it doesn't always end happily ever after at all. Well, that's what Merlin told me anyway. I mean, I think it probably does, but there we go. Anyway, my dear friends, we shall have to call it a day. Oh, I'm just joking, of course it's such a thing as happy ever after. Everybody lives happily ever after, and everybody's happy, and that's the way it should be. So there. And if you think I'm grumpy, I probably am, compared to somebody who's not. There you are. There's a couple of trees. And another picture of the old wood wizard, Iggy. I might add a bit of colour to this and let you have a look at it when I've done it. I might well do that. Okie dokie, you take care now. And we'll hopefully see each other again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.